Oh,
Welcome into Out of Rhythm
oh,
Fantasy Sports. It's a Tuesday. It's Halloween time.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Good gravy, good gravy, good gravy. But yes, welcome into Out of Rhythm Fantasy Sports. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. And it's Waivers Tuesday. Waivers and Tuesdays. But oh, what an interesting night. Yeah, dude. Man, we had a lot of views yesterday on our week 8 recap, which is totally crazy. We had like I was telling you last night that we had like over like 81 views. I was like, "What?" Like that shit just like blew my mind, man. I had no idea.
Hey, everybody's got their little gunny sack. They got their backpacks. They got their duffel bags. They're on board with the train. Uh, I know it looks like you've just entered hell because you kind of have. But yeah, me and Jay, as much as we'd like to be out with the little kids, out trick or treating, getting some Reese's and Rolos and stuff, we're here with you guys. Doing another stream tonight. Back tag team back again. Doing it for the
Yeah.
second night in a row. Yeah. So we're gonna talk some waivers. Talk some of the before we even get to waivers, or talk some of the NFL trades and how that affects things. Then we're gonna get into the waivers, and then as a little treat, give you the ghosting segment and some DFS, some DraftKings bargains for you. But before that, go over and you can check out last night's show. You could check out some of the archive shows from this past summer, which is great content in my opinion because it laid the groundwork. It's the foundation of the whole season because we talked up a lot of these guys that are popping now. You can even hear me uh, you know uh, go off on Will Levis, it's one game. I don't know if I'm gonna be right or wrong, but trash Will Levis
What?
pretty good. What? Trash Will Levis pretty good. Uh, yeah, but you can go back and watch all the old shows on Spotify. And then we're on Google Play, uh, Apple Play, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts,
Yeah.
wherever the hell else we are. I mean, we're Podbean. We're all over the damn place. So, and then Jay, you know where they can go if they want extra content beyond the recordings, and go over to Discord. It's a good forum. We've had a few guys coughing up that bullshit. We've had a few guys come over to Discord. It's a good place to just you don't have all the trolls over there for the most. It tends to be fantasy oriented guys and gals and people just want to talk fantasy, talk a little smack, exchange ideas. So Discord's a great place for that. So go on over and sign up for that. And I think the link's in below. So
Yes. And if you guys got any questions, because it's waiver Tuesday, jump in that comic section, comment, live chat below, and whatnot while we're on the air. If you guys want any questions asked before we jump off out of here and whatnot too as well, get in that live comment section below and just start chatting away. So, but and for seeing Dunes, let's get into some highlighted news. I mean, we had that trade deadline today that luckily I didn't really miss anything because nothing really happened that was really major in my eyes. So, I mean, first of all, I mean, the only thing that was really major, well, I wouldn't say really major, but Donovan Peoples Jones actually gets traded. I mean, that kind of piques my interest just a little bit. The Browns trade away Donovan People Jones to the Lions, exchanged for a 2025 sixth round pick. Um, yeah, I know. I think this kind of helps the Lions in need for what they kind of what they're missing because Jameson Williams really has been there, and I think I actually kind of like Peoples Jones. I mean, I actually kind of like Peoples Jones kind of coming into the season. I kind of highlighted him in the Browns offense this summer when we actually broke down that whole offense back in the day this summer, back in the day, a couple years ago, But I actually like this trade for the Lions because they actually needed somebody to actually help their offense out, just help them in general. So what do you think there, big boy?
Well, first of all, I gotta turn this damn light off. I feel like Darth Maul. I feel like I'm about ready to have a lightsaber battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi or something.
Uh,
All right, much better. Yeah, no, Peoples Jones. There's some weird stuff going on with Jameson Williams. I mean, why? It just seems like one thing after another. Why this guy? He should be in the lineup like every other big play receiver, across the league. Everybody else is getting, you know, 9 targets, 6, 7 grabs, 80 yards. This is what this guy should be doing every week. He was, high first round pick. So there's some weird stuff going on with Jameson Williams. He was supposed to be their deep threat. He was supposed to take the top off the defense. Peoples Jones, he's MVS. Where you can count on him maybe about every 4th game. About maybe four times a year, I'd say, that you can count on a 100-yard game, and you're not going to get much else. I mean, but we'll look up. I mean, we looked up the last couple of years with the Browns. There'd be a 4-catch, 102-yard touchdown game from Peoples Jones, and you'd be like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" I know you've been bigger on him than I have. You've had him in some shares of him in fantasy before, but
yeah.
it's worth kicking the tires on. For a 6th-round pick, I'm all for it. And Goff is definitely an upgrade over the creepy one himself, Deshaun Watson and PJ Walker. So definitely there. But if people wanted some like fantasy correlation, people wanted some fantasy correlation. I would lean towards MVS. He reminds me a lot of MVS in terms of like his value, what you can expect from him in the Lions offense. But I like the deal.
Yeah, I just looking at Jameson Williams snap count here. I mean, 47, 23, 44, 40, 40. He was out in 40% of snaps here last night against, the Raiders. Only 3 targets, 2 catches, 16 yards. Man,
Yeah,
and
that's not
for a
that's pathetic.
For a first round pick. Yeah, that is super pathetic. It blows my mind. See, Peoples Jones, well, he hasn't really had the many. I think he's been overshadowed here a little bit. He's been out 89, 87, 89, 90, 80, Indy 61, but out in 83, so his percent out there on, quite a bit of the percentage counts. But I mean, he's only been averaging maybe 4 or 3 targets here the last like 8 weeks, couple catches, so I mean, they must have been, I think they want to get Tillman in there, and they have, well, they have can't think of his name now, from the Jets. He kind of overseen that's wide receiver too. Elijah Moore. Yeah. So that in turn is probably, kind of hurted Donovan Peoples Jones. But I was gonna say here, last year actually, I mean, there was a couple. He's seen 11 targets, nine targets. I'm trying to see. He had 100-yard game. That was against Cincy. That was in week 14 last year. So I mean, he's kind of he's kind of boomer bust. I mean, he's so I kind of have to agree. Kind of an MVS a little bit. He's some days he'll probably hit, some days he probably won't. But I mean, other than that, he had a couple touchdowns, 3 touchdowns last year. No touchdowns this year at all. So, but I think he's got the talent. He's got some upside to him. I mean, I think he's 6'2". So I mean, he should fall in this offense pretty good. Good deep ball catches. I mean, I think this will be good for the Lions overall.
The problem is he's got a similar talent level to a lot of the other guys they have. Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond. So it's not like he's coming in. It's not like they acquired Mike Evans or some guy, Devontae Adams. A clear cut number 1 guy. They didn't get that with him, but like I said, it adds depth too. Because if Jamison Williams does do something weird or crazy again, you got somebody right there. It's like, okay, you want to,
Yes.
you want to play games, dude. You want to gamble. You want to, injure yourself again. Do whatever. Not live up to expectations. Well, we'll put Peoples Jones in there, and he'll take over that role. So those three targets that last night went to him to the Raiders will be People Jones targets in the future. Like if
Yeah,
something
I
goes,
think he'll probably.
I like it. It's insurance. It's insurance for Jamison Williams. Is
I think.
really
Yeah,
good.
I think they might fade out people or Williams, and I think People Jones will probably get some more. I think he'll probably, since the Lions are in bye, this gives People Jones enough time to adjust to the Lions offense and get accommodated with Goff and offense and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe I think People's got some shares of Peoples Jones already, so maybe in deeper leagues, he might be all right in deeper leagues. Um, I mean, other than that, yeah, I mean, that kinda gives, enough points on Donovan Peoples-Jones, and the only other one is Joshua Dobbs. He actually gets traded to the Vikings. I kinda had a feeling that he was gonna probably, like, as soon as they said he was out, had a feeling that maybe this guy was actually gonna get traded. So, and he actually ends up getting traded to the Vikings, for a 7th round pick, and then um, I think the Vikings get a 6th round pick or Arizona gets a 6th round pick. One of those two damn things. So they get Vikings get Dobbs and a 7th, and then it goes back to Arizona gets a 6th for him. So I don't know, but it sounds like I think it's Jaren Hill is actually might be starting this weekend. Not sure, but Dobbs might play a little bit too as well. So I don't know. We'll have to kind of see on this move. I don't know. What do you think on this move?
Honestly, uh, where do I start? It's good for Dobbs owners. Because he wasn't gonna. I mean, let's be honest. He would have been the third string quarterback. I mean, they would have relegated him to third string. He would have been behind. Kyler's coming back this week, and Tune probably would have jumped him, just based on everything. So he would have had no value to anybody. At least with the Vikings, he's got a puncher's chance because of all the weapons they have. So if you got Dobbs in 16 man or uh it's questionable with a 12 man because of there's enough guys there that maybe Dobbs isn't rostered in one of those, but he definitely in 16 and 20 man. I think you're going to see a lot of benefit. I think you can stick him in there. Definitely at least down the line here. I don't Jaron Hall. Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. No, nothing there. Any of the practice, Sean Mannion, any of the practice squad guys, anybody else on the Vikings depth chart, quarterback, Nick Mullins, get out of here. Josh Dobbs, I think Josh Dobbs might be able to start if he picks up the playbook, quick enough. If he's ready to go Friday, I can see Josh Dobbs starting Sunday against Atlanta. I mean, I really can. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be
Atlanta's kind of
interesting to see, but it's the weapons. It's the weapons. It's not like he's going. Where try to think of like the Giants. Like if he was a starting quarterback, he was getting sent over to the Giants. I'd be like, yep, he's DOA. But working with Powell and Osborne and Addison, and then when JJ comes back, and then Cam Akers has kind of reemerged, and Madison's got got a little juice, and obviously Hawkinson's a beast. So it's just the personnel he'll be working with, kind of like Brock Purdy. He's not that great, but it's the weapons around him that worry you. So yeah, Dobbs is going to have some value for sure. I'd hold on to him if he's
yeah.
already on your roster. Stash him away and hope for a rainy day.
Yeah, he's already got 8 touchdowns on the season already. So I mean, he had 2 in the game. He had 2 here this last weekend. He had 2 in week 4 and 5, and then he had a couple touchdowns in week 2 and 3. So I think he's valuable. I mean, especially in 2 quarterback leagues, where I kind of got him in a 2 quarterback league where I needed somebody, but I might try to go out and maybe get Will Levis, who could maybe put up 1,000 some touchdowns. But yeah, other than that, Joshua Dobbs, welcome to the Vikings.
Sound the horns.
But yeah, I think that kind of recaps most of the NFL news really from the trade deadline and nothing. I mean, a couple defensive guys and Chase said, Chase he goes ends up being with 49ers. I mean, not really much of a defense guy, but I mean, other than that, a couple defensive players moving around. I mean, as far as offense, these are only two main hits that I've seen that was irrelevant. That might hurt. Dobbs, some people might have Dobbs, so I'm sure that kind of hurts them in a way. So, which will help you in our waivers, probably coming up like right now. So, Eli,
I do got to say quick, Montez Sweat going to the Bears. I do like that because there are people. We specifically don't talk a lot of defense because it's few and far between. What, maybe 10% of the leagues have defensive players. So we
yeah,
usually just stick to the skill position guys. We usually don't talk kickers or defensive guys, but I do like the Montez Sweat edition. He's been a beast for Washington. So if you got shares of him, if you got a defensive league, we play in one with our friend Jared,
yeah,
another league that we all do together. I have him on my bench. I have him, and he puts up like 15 fantasy points a week. I mean, the guy's a beast. So Montez Sweat for sure. Chase Young, he's had a decent year. People are ragging on him like he's been a bust the last couple of years. He's been banged up. I mean, guy was a beast his rookie year, and
yeah,
so far this year has I think 5 or 5.5 sacks. So not bad at all. I mean, I think that for that 40 now, how it affects fantasy. Like, if you're playing the 49ers defense now, your quarterback might get knocked out of the game because he's got Nick Bosa on one end and Chase Young on the other. I mean, that's frightening.
yeah.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. Wish I had some
Yes.
candy for you. Do you have any sprees?
We'll just start
you have
throwing
any
candy at
nerd
the
boxes?
camera.
Yeah, right. At the screen.
Here's some more Halloween for you.
Go get Delilah. Go get Delilah.
She's running around somewhere in here. But anyways, I think it's time to hit Eli's Fab Five, and then we'll hit up my Sleeper Six, and then we have our Mike Olsen segment for Who Shit the Bed, and then we'll get into Eli's DFS bargain bins to kind of wrap up the show. So before we get out of here, hopefully some people show up, and if you guys want some, need some help, with your waivers tonight or anything like that, jump into live comments, live section, live chat, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Jump in there, and we'll go from there, man.
Yeah,
But
I'm
anyways,
checking for a pulse. Checking for a pulse right now. We need to get a few more. You get a few more comments here. Anybody that's watched the stream, we know it's Halloween, but if you have any feedback on anything, if you have any questions about your team, this is a big week. I mean, trade deadline, the fantasy. I think it's the fantasy trade deadline too for a lot of leagues. So I mean, this is a big night. Especially it's only 7:30 Central Time. So you guys got whatever 4.5 hours or however long into the morning you can do it, but you got time to make some wheel and deal a little bit in your leagues. Go grab somebody. But in the meantime, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna do a little Fab Five pickups.
actually,
waivers. All right, doctors out. Doctors out. Here we go. All right. So as I always do, I clarify before we start. So I do the Yahoo side because that's where we tend to do a lot of our leagues, and then Jamie does the sleeper side, the sleeper app. So Yahoo's probably comparable to ESPN and some other popular, some other popular platforms where people play. So I think this is pretty universal, and I keep it under 20% rostered. So that's what the percentage means. And so I keep it under 20% just to, hey, if you're in a 10, 12, 16, 20 man, it doesn't make any difference. These guys should be damn near universally available, and you can snag them up, and they're going to have some value. This week, just based on one game, it's hard to just, hey, Will Levis is going to put up 228 and 4 touchdowns every game. I doubt that, but yeah, you can't be the guy that's left behind though. You don't want, and if he's terrible in a couple weeks, drop him. But you can't be the guy that's like, I've seen this before in different sports. There'll be a pitcher that nobody's ever heard of, and he comes in and has 42 saves that year. And you could have been the guy when you saw the first week of the season, he had 2 saves and 5 strikeouts. Like, wow, I should have picked him up, back in April. Well, same thing here with football. You don't want to be the guy, Will Levis, 3 weeks from now has got 10 touchdowns, 1 pick, is tearing up the league. And then hey, I could have got him when he was at 6% owned. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be in that position. So if you got the roster space, especially in deeper leagues, just it's worth a shot. Definitely. It's worth a shot. Put him on the bench. If he does another week like this back to back, okay. Then you could start playing him for real. Just buyer beware. I'd say pick him up, put him on the bench, see what he does for a couple weeks. If he's, even 230 and 2 touchdowns, that's still a good stat line. That's somebody I'd feel comfortable putting in on a bye week or in a 2 quarterback league for sure. So Will Levis right now, I put a number 1, 6%. I'm a sucker for those old Oiler jerseys. Those were sick. They need to get rid of those stupid. They need to just go back to these. Who cares if they're called the Titans now? Just go with those old Oiler, jerseys. They're just sexy AF. Number 2, Pierre Strong. Yeah, I said it last night on the stream. I think down the line, I think he's jumped Jerome Ford. And I know that they're kind of doing a 3-headed, committee, who's got the hot hand, running back by committee thing. But I really do. I think once Kareem Hunt starts wearing down, because Kareem Hunt's got fresh legs. I mean, let's be honest. Kareem Hunt isn't the same Kareem Hunt from 5 years ago when he was tearing up the league in Kansas City. He's just not. So once those fresh legs wear off, I think Pierre Strong will be the feature back. And as much as you can be with the Browns. I mean, it's not going to be Saquon Barkley feature, but he might get 14 carries versus Kareem's 10 versus Jerome Ford's 7. If that's kind of where they're headed with it. But Pierre Strong, had a nice catch for 41 yards this past game. Just he's building. It's building, and then it's going to reach a crescendo. And he's going, by week 12, you're going to be like, wow, I should have picked him up. Another guy, should have picked him up a few weeks ago when I could. So you got room on your bench. Pierre Strong at number 2. Jake Bobo at number 3. There's some other guys I could have put here. Possibly even Josh Dobbs because of who he'll be working with in Minnesota. Josh Dobbs could have been here as a quarterback. A couple other options, but I thought, Bobo, it's still at 1%. People are sleeping on him. I know technically he's the number 4 option in Seattle, but I still think DK is not 100%. Tyler Lockett, I know he had a touchdown this past week, but he's kind of banged up a little bit. JSN's kind of coming on. But I like Jake Bobo. I do. He had a rushing touchdown this past game. He's getting points where he can. It's hard right now because they got a lot of quality mouths to feed in Seattle. So, but you got another guy just like Pierre Strong. Got room on the bench. Go pick him up. I wouldn't start him though. Number 4, Demario Douglas. This is a guy. Now he is a player. He is a player right here. I think he's gonna take over a lot of the targets that Kendrick Bourne. What? He's gonna take over a lot of the targets that Kendrick Bourne was getting. I'm not a big Juju guy. Tyquan Thornton, who I thought would kind of have a quality year. He's nowhere to be found yet. Anyways, coming back from injury. Hunter Henry, the tight end. I mean, they need more than Hunter Henry. I mean, somebody's, even as bad as New England's offense is, somebody's got to get those targets. Can't all be Hunter Henry. So I think Demario Douglas, just with the versatility, just, kind of like a poor man's Debo, can rush it, obviously catch out of the back, catch screens, catch it across the middle, catch it deep. I think this guy's versatile. And I think his value is only going to go up because of what happened with Kendrick Bourne. And Kendrick Bourne was having a career year. He really was. He's kind of been a lower tier receiver, with his time with, Patriots and 49ers. But this year he was really blossoming. And it sucks to see him go down. But that's, 3% rostered for Demario Douglas. Go snag him up. And number 5, I put Gardner Minshew. I think Minshew. People are. It's the it's the name. It's the okay. That's the long haired guy for who's been cut by two teams or traded or whatever. With Jacksonville and Philly, like he's not good. He wasn't good enough. There. I mean, they got Trevor Lawrence to replace him in Jacksonville. He wasn't good enough to beat out Jalen Hurts. Well, those are two of the top 6 quarterbacks in the league. I mean, that's it's not like he was getting beat out, by Desmond Ritter, or you know what I mean. So Minshew ain't bad. He's not. The more I've seen of him, not a bad quarterback. Definitely not fantasy wise either. I mean, I mean, a lot of the weeks. I mean, this guy can put up 350 if he had to. In a lot of weeks, he's flirting with 300 yards, a couple touchdowns. He's gonna throw a dumb pick or two, but it's like Sam Howell. Very, very similar to Sam Howell. You're going to get a lot of yards, a few touchdowns, probably a few turnovers too. But it'll all kind of balance itself out. Only 17% rostered. Minshew, I would definitely feel comfortable if he was my backup in any size league.
Yeah,
Those are my fab. Five.
I would have to.
Yeah.
I would have to. I would have to agree with you there. I mean, Minshew, the last 2 weeks he had over 300 yards passing. This last week he had 213 yards, but I mean, yeah, he's capable of putting up 300 some odd yards, getting you a couple touchdowns. I mean, the only game he had 3 game picks was against Jacksonville. These last 2 games he only had an interception there. So I mean, you can say that when he does play that he's conservative with the ball without trying to make an interception, which is actually a good thing because you don't want them. So I mean, it goes to show that he's at least smart enough to not try to throw a pick. But I mean, sometimes QBs will just throw those do dumb things and just think they got an opening, and next thing you know, the ball's going the other way. So I mean, in this light, Minshew's good. Douglas, I was going to say on him that he actually his snap percentage count was actually going up, so that was actually a plus. I was actually going to say here too as well. I mean, the first week he's seen 7 targets. Other than that, he has his target count was very minimum the last like 4 weeks, and then these last 2 weeks 6, 7 targets per game. So now I think this is only going to go up. And this last game he had 25. He had 5 receptions, 25 yards. I mean, it's nothing. It's really nothing to really like scream about. Like, oh, let's run out and grab Douglas. But I mean, he's probably going to be their only option. I mean, Devontae Parker, Juju. I mean, if you need a guy, right? I mean, if you need a guy, I mean, yeah, go out and snag him up because there's probably not going to be a lot of other options out there for wide receivers. I mean, Taysom Hill. Well, there's one guy we could probably pick up. You probably could pick up, which I'll talk about, just in a moment or so that you could probably pick up that I think is liable. Bobo, deeper leagues for sure. I have to agree there. I mean, smaller leagues, I don't think you'd be really using him too much. Pierce Strong, I actually like because I actually picked him up in the league, just for have that blanket in case somebody does go out. Especially in deeper league. I think I got him in a deeper league. And Will Levis for sure. Yeah, I mean, I got him in most of my waiver pickups too as well. But yeah, especially in 2 QB leagues, if you need a QB and where most of us are hurting a lot. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be especially if you got Fab and stuff like that too. I'm gonna be ringing down some Fab on some Will Levis for sure. I mean, Douglas, and maybe it might throw a couple bucks at him for sure. But Will Levis will be a guy that I will probably right now, I'm just saying bluntly that I'm gonna be throwing like all my money on. So, it's one of those waiver things. It's just maybe. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, as we know, Jay, guys like this that have these capabilities don't come around that often in the waiver wire. They really don't. You'll get a Josh Dobbs who's nice. I mean, nothing's special. Sam Howell puts up a bunch of yards and touchdowns. Nothing special. I mean, if Will Levis turns out to, I mean, it's just one game. We'll see what he does against Pittsburgh on Thursday. But if he ends up being like a top 12, 15 fantasy quarterback, that's worth the price of admission. I mean, that'd been a hell of a pickup. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Especially this young, especially um, if you had him in Dynasty, he's probably on somebody's, practice squad or taxi squad, or, he's probably in that spot. And if he was just sitting, chilling on your, practice squad, you're just like, oh man, I might have just hit on something. I might have to promote this. Yeah, you do need to promote him. So yeah, if you're in any kind of dynasty league, you need to get this man up and see what he's got. And if he, like I said, Pittsburgh's a good litmus test because they got a pretty good defense. If he can tear them up a little bit, then I'm sold. Then I'm like, okay, I was wrong. Let's move, upward and onward.
Yeah, I would have to say so. Yeah, so on the sleeper side, this is 10 to 12 man leagues. I actually forgot to put Jared's Hill percentage in there because it probably doesn't count anyways.
Matter. Yeah, he's gonna be riding the bench.
That's my fault. Yeah, I have
I'll
Will
allow it.
Levis at 8.
I'll forget. You're forgiven.
Yeah, I got Will Levis at 8%. Jared Hill, I think he's 0% rostered anyway, so I mean that's pretty much it. I got Douglas on there too at 6%. The other guy I was thinking of is Shaquille Shakur. At 5% rostered. He had a 95 yard game here, this last weekend.
Yeah, he had a nice game. We predicted before the season. I thought Shakir would be the number 3 guy behind Diggs and Gabe Davis. And if Diggs loses his mind, because he's only at second year guy, Shakir. Like if Diggs keeps acting like this and they get rid of him in the offseason, Shakur could be the number 2 receiver in Buffalo for next year. So if he's on, especially in Dynasty, I like Shakir a lot. If he's on your Dynasty, bench somewhere.
Yeah, he might even be. I don't know if he's even rostered in some of our Dynasty leagues. So let me quickly check that out real quick while we're doing waivers. And then the other guy is Trey McBride. He's already snagged up. I mean, in most leagues. 85% rostered. Oh, that's in Dynasty. I think that's Dynasty, but he's still out there in a few smaller leagues, just in case. So go out there and check that out. I was just looking here at Dynasty, and he's actually rostered quite a bit. Oh, didn't think he was that far rostered. Oh, well, yeah, in Dynasty, in 10 to 12 man leagues, he's only 30% rostered. So it just varies on your dynasty leagues into 12 man, 12, 16, 12. So it all varies. So these guys will probably still more likely be out there. Dynasty is just a little bit different. And then I got the Saints defense because they're actually playing they're playing Chicago. So I think that's just a good defense to pick up for this weekend. Saints, I know they get a couple interceptions in there, some sacks up in there. So I mean, it's the Bears. I mean, they're not going to be probably doing much, not be scoring much. I mean, they didn't do much here this last weekend, anyways. Like 7 some odd points, they got their asses handed to them. So Saints defense.
And Justin Fields is still week to week with his thumb, so you're gonna get more of the Badger. He's gonna get sacked and crushed. So you got Saints defense. We don't give a lot of love to the defensive side, but yeah, if you got the Saints defense this week, it should hit.
Yep. Shakir is actually available in some dynasty leagues too as well, which is kind of funny. And he's actually only 51% roster in dynasty leagues, which is totally crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's one person who's got him in a dynasty league, but he's out there in all formats. So I mean, especially in deep leagues, if you need somebody, I think Shakir will be someone to kind of reconcile. And then for those super max deep leagues,
get them deep cuts.
Yep. I got Will Levis up there. Once again, he had 4 touchdowns this last weekend, and I think he had like 300 some odd yards passing. I don't have the stats on me on hand. I should grab my notes from yesterday. But Fournette, 19% rostered. Um, I think this is an opportunity. If something does happen, I think that,
I hate
it
to
does.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, man, but with Melvin Gordon, we thought Melvin Gordon was dead, and he hasn't been like tearing it up or anything, but I mean, he's gotten a couple carries in an NFL game for the Ravens this year. Lenny Fournette is going to get into some NFL action. Just watch. Just watch. Like somebody's going to get hurt. It's going to be James Cook or somebody, and Lenny Fournette is going to find his way in. He'll end up, having like 240 yards at the end of the year, and we'll look up and be like, "Where the hell did that come from?"
Yeah, yeah. And then I heard um I don't know if it's true or not, but I was going through his Facebook here real quick. Somebody was saying that Cooks was out, but I'm like, I didn't see anything about that, him being like injured or hurt or anything like that, or questionable or anything like that. Then I got Douglas again. He's like 6%, and just in case, go check out Sam Howell. I was actually scrolling through, the available guys in deeper leagues, and somehow Sam Howell was actually out there. So just in case some dumb nut, actually like totally like, drops
He's the
Sam.
11th. He's the 11th rated fantasy quarterback. I know it's hard to believe because it's Sam Howell. He's got such a bad, like, oh, Sam Howell can't play. He's trash. He's this guy's the 11th, number 11 fantasy quarterback. I mean that, you know, he's good enough. I mean, in 16-man leagues, he should be starting every week.
Yeah,
Nate, you don't have
he's out
anybody. You don't like fantasy, especially with all these injuries to Cousins, Richardson. Probably somebody I'm not thinking of that's been hurt. Kyler Murray being out half the year. Like you're telling me he's not, upper half fantasy quarterback? No, the stats don't lie. Ball don't lie. Sam Howell has manager negligence, and there are people asleep at the wheel in your league if Sam Howell is not rostered. I mean, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was happy. I was like, "What, Sam?" And I think I've seen some people dropping Sam Howell to the waiver wire and stuff like that. So if he's out
Um,
there.
um,
Are you nuts?
Yeah, people are nuts because
I think
they
so. Yeah.
when Sam Howell's not really doing anything, so it's just kind of like, well, we'll just ship him out, and next thing you know, he has a 4 touchdown game. You're like, why did I just do that for? But he might be available, just in case. Go out there and take a look and seg him up for this upcoming week. They actually play. They actually played the Patriots this week, so yes, that should be a good game. I was gonna. I don't. Oh, Douglas does play at Washington, so that should be maybe some good available high targets for him in that game, since Washington did put up some good points here this weekend. So it's very possible Douglas
I
can
mean,
see some double-digit
Jay,
targets.
their defense was trash before they got rid of their 2 defensive ends, but I can't imagine how bad this Washington defense is going to be without, Sweat and Chase Young. They'll have no pass rush. So if Mac Jones might even be a good pickup this week if you're desperate for quarterback. I mean, I'm being serious. Like it's I mean that Washington, that's going to be bad. I mean, New England should literally tear them up. Hunter Henry should have a big game. Ramondre Stevenson should have a big game, and Demario Douglas should have a good game as well. And which is why I might talk about him in DFS. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe hopefully the booty monster comes out and actually plays some
I
good.
am. I am too.
But
My new Halloween.
yeah.
That's gonna be my new Halloween. That's gonna be my new Halloween alias, the Booty Monster. Instead of eating cookie, instead of eating cookies like the Cookie Monster, I eat something else.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
All right, and the Vikings defense, they actually play Atlanta this weekend. The previous week they actually had 4 sacks and interception, and they've been giving up an average about 270 some odd yards, give or take. So I think the Vikings defense against Atlanta a good opportunity, or if you need a defense from deeper leagues, I think the Vikings defense should be pretty decent for you, especially if they're playing Atlanta. Atlanta don't know what the hell they're doing. So I mean, might give up a touchdown or two, but who knows? Maybe just Atlanta comes out bursting. You just never know, I guess.
Yeah, Vikings defense been playing a lot better. Packers aren't anything great on offense, but they held them to 10 points. Held the 49ers in check pretty good a couple weeks ago. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the Vikings defense is getting better. So if you need a no pun intended, you need a sleeper defense. Vikings might because they're available. Yeah, sound the horn. They're available, man. I mean, if Yahoo, probably ESPN, definitely sleeper. Yeah, they'll be available in all leagues because people still have that stigma with the Vikings defense that is trash. And recently, it's just not. That's not the case anymore. So
Yeah. But anyways, I think that kind of covers our waivers, but we have maybe 15 minutes, give or take. But so I mean, if anybody wants some waiver, if anybody has some lineup questions or trade questions or anything like that, before we get up out of here, get in that live chat and start going at it before we get the hell up out of here, guys. So, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let's go before we jump up out of here before we end the show, and then it's kaboosh, we're done up out of here. So, other than that,
be gone like the wind.
We're gonna jump on over to some bargain bins. And Eli, what do we have for today?
Well, I still got to get my shopping cart. That's still in the works. I'll go talk to Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys, and we'll get something set up. Or just go steal one from. Hey, I got a truck. I'll go steal one from Walmart, bring it in here. Then I'll have a little prop. You'll see me running around my little room here with my shopping cart. Because you know what? We're shopping for bargains right now. Trying to find you guys some deals to help you win in DFS. Now, usually I go with DraftKings because that's just my personal preference. Same thing with our music and our pods. We love Spotify, so it's just DraftKings is just my preference. And I look for guys specifically under 5,500. So we're looking for bargains so that, hey, you can build the team with a few studs. I mean, you could have Tyreek on your team every week. You get enough of these kind of guys, you can get Tyreek every week. Especially when Joe Burrow's going off like this, you can have Joe Burrow every week. You could have we see what AJ's doing in Philly. You can have AJ Brown every week if you want. So we're looking for bargains to build to get to that 50,000. We're piecing together. I do the 9-man classic, so that's kind of the rules of the game, as they would say. So let's get started. Number one, Pierre Strong for 4,400. That's a hell of a deal. I think it's going to continue. This Browns attack, Deshaun Watson ain't newsflash. Deshaun Watson ain't playing this week. I don't think he's playing any weeks. He's pulling some weird shit, and it's probably gonna be PJ Walker at least the next week or two for sure. So it's gonna be a lot of the ground attack. They don't have People Jones anymore, so they don't have a deep threat other than Amari, and he's getting older. So I think a lot of the Browns' offense is gonna be ground and pound. And he'll be one of the three guys getting it. So, and I think he's getting more carries now than Jerome Ford. So, being number 2 right now behind Kareem Hunt's not the worst spot, and that's a hell of a deal to me. I'd feel comfortable putting him in. Number 2, Michael Mayer. They're better tight ends, obviously, but just for the price, 2,800. He had a few catches against Detroit, nothing special, but he's capable. A few weeks ago, he had 5 grabs, 75 yards. So he's capable of putting up a decent, tight end kind of game. So I just think with the price, if he was any higher, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. But 2,800 for a tight end that can give you some decent return. Maybe 4 catches, 50 yards. I'll take it. That's decent. We got we're looking for bargains. That's the name of the game. Number 3, Josh Palmer. With the Chargers, there'll be some weeks where it's a little down, but for the most part, yeah, he's the number 2 guy, and Keenan Allen's he's had a great year, but he's still older. The guy's 33 years old, so Palmer's a lot younger, and Quentin Johnston, he had a decent game against the Bears, but still nowhere near where he needs to be. Mike Williams isn't in his way anymore. So, I mean, there's some weeks Josh Palmer is probably the number 1 receiver with the Chargers. So, and this might be that week. So, you never know. 5,100, I think, is a good price point for him. Number 4, Gardner Minshew, like we had mentioned. 5,200. That's not a bad price point. If he gets you, if it's one of those Minshew weeks where it's 300 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, I'll take it. Hell yeah, sign me up. And Demario Douglas, I really do. I think high of this kid. Jamie was saying he could have been the riser had it not been Trey McBride. Demario Douglas would have been my 1A this week in terms of the riser, because he, like I said, week 1 kind of popped, got hurt, and I think he's pretty much taking off from what he did week 1 the last couple weeks, and he's just elevating it. And Kendrick Bourne's no longer in the way, so those targets are probably gonna be distributed between him and Juju. I don't think Juju deserves them. I think Juju's trash. But Devontae Parker, get out of here. Thornton, like we mentioned, not really a factor. Yeah, Devontae Parker's trash, absolutely. Demario Douglas, he's gonna be versatile. He's gonna be a poor man's Deebo Samuel. So if you can get him for 4,000, do it.
Yeah.
And, these are my bargain bin. Get my little shopping cart here. Make a little lap here. I gotta get one of the. You know what? I gotta get one of the little kitty ones. Remember the little kitty ones from the grocery store, like Hy-Vee or something. I need to get one of the little kitty carts.
No, here's what you got to do. So when you do the segment, just get one of those little carts, glue a little stick on it, and then you just go right across the screen with your cart. But anyways, yes, that was Eli's bargain bins. I don't mind Pierce Strong. If he has another outing like this, I mean, yeah, you might be able to kind of fit him in there depending on, let's see. I don't remember. I was actually going to put okay. So the Cleveland is actually playing Arizona. So, I mean, there's a good chance that Pierce Strong maybe gets a touchdown up in there. Yeah, I just had to look at my notes because I had Cleveland there. So, yeah, there's a very good chance that, Arizona stubbed the Cowboys too as well. So, I mean, he's not a bad play. Michael Myers. We can do.
Yeah. Here we go. He's coming.
But yeah, it's Michael Myers.
I should have changed his name tonight. I should have spelled it MYERS.
But yeah, not a bad play. I don't think. I mean, I don't think he really had. Let me check his stats real quick, because I don't think he really had a good play here this last.
He didn't do hardly. But I mean, really, nobody did anything against Detroit. I mean, the Raiders were lucky to score 14 points. They got pick 6. So they really didn't do hardly anything on offense. So I'm not going to hold it against them for that game. Nobody was doing anything against Detroit's defense.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, he only had one. Well, he had 2 targets, 1 reception for 19 yards. I mean, I'm sure. I'm like, I could probably do. I would probably do McBride maybe in this situation. Palmer not a bad situation there. He injured his knee, but he ended up coming back anyways, finishing that game over the weekend. Minshew, I like that, and Douglas we mentioned too, because they're actually playing. I just can't remember who they were playing now, because I just said it here. Oh yeah, Washington. They're playing Washington. So yeah, I just said, yeah, it's a pretty good chance that he's a target monster. So probably maybe gets a touchdown up in here this weekend. That'd be pretty.
I'm gonna be like Babe Damn Ruth. I'm calling it right now. Demario Douglas will have a touchdown against Washington. You're damn right.
But yeah, other than that, I don't. Is there anything else? I don't think there's really much anything else, because other than that, I think that kind of wraps up everything too. I mean, unless you had anything else you want to mention up or talk about before we get up out of here.
Just if you guys have been following any of the scroll on the bottom, I put the 2 trades obviously, and I've been tried to put some injury updates on some guys. Daniel Jones, as far as I know, Daniel Jones will be back week 9. He's been having neck issues, and Tyrod with what happened with him. I mean, Giants were pretty much like knocking on Danny Dimes' door. We need you to play. We really can't. We don't even know who our third string quarterback is. We need you to go back in there. So he's back. Kyler's back. Pickett's going to play Thursday against the Titans, which is good for Deontay and Pickens. Some of the Steelers owners, because I wouldn't trust Trubisky, honestly. So that's good for if you got shares of any of the Steeler receivers. Stafford and Puka, I think they might. Stafford might turn into a doubtful. So if I was had shares of Stafford, I'd really watch that this week. Puka's going to play. I just put that in there, but Puka's going to end up playing for sure. Gerald Everett from the Chargers, he's going to end up playing. They're going to need him. It's a big Monday night game against the Jets, and a couple other things. A couple other guys I put in there too on the bottom. So if you just follow the scroll, but some of the injury updates. But yeah, it's good to see Kyler back. We'll see what he can do. Obviously, Daniel Jones he's not great, but he's an upgrade. I mean, that might give, if you have shares of Wandale or Jalen Hyatt, any of these guys, Waller's going to be out. So if anybody's going to get anything through the air for the Giants, it's going to be a Jalen Hyatt or a Wandale Robinson. Somebody yes. along the lines of that. So that should help. That's all I got.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna stay away from all Giants. I mean, I got some Hyatt. I might drop him. I did pick up Wandale just in case.
We try.
There's
32. There's 32 of these teams. We're trying to find a little sunshine, a little ray of light in some of these teams. And Giants, it's hard. I try to do this with a straight face, but yeah, Giants offense is trash. Absolute garbage.
Oh God, this is so disgusting. I think I'm gonna puke.
But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our show. I think no one's watching just because we got the baseball game going on tonight, so everybody's watching the World Series.
Game 3? So game 3 or game 4?
Game 3 is on tonight, or I think it's 4.
Do you want? Wait, Jay, do you want to do your ghosting?
Oh yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that.
Segment.
Yes. Before we get up out of here, thank God you told me that. I was like, yeah, let's get the hell up out of here. So this weekend, Chris Olave did, so Chris Olave, George Pickens, Puka, Christian Watson, and Cooper Kupp are all on my list this week. Olave, 9 targets, 5 receptions, 46 yards. This is not what we're expecting from Olave from his, 1,000 some odd yards last season with, how many touchdowns he had. He had quite a few touchdowns last season too as well. So this is not what we're expecting from Olave. We're expecting him to be that number 1 guy, at least 100 some odd yards, at least a touchdown there at least. This is not what we're expecting from him. George Pickens, this was kind of a downer for me because, as sad as this game was, just going back and forth, that, Devontae Johnson was getting all the targets. Pickens had 5 targets. He only good thing was he had 1 catch for 22 yards just for that, 1 touchdown. And this is not what we're expecting from George Pickens. A lot of us want him to be that wide receiver 1 / wide receiver 2. I mean, other than that, hopefully George Pickens picks it up here this upcoming week. And the other 2 guys, Puka and Cooper Kupp, they really didn't do a whole lot against Dallas here this last weekend, which, with Dallas being elite, this was probably going to be expected, that Puka is not going to have that elite game like he kind of normally does. He just kind of, golden star just out of the rise, So, I mean, some of these games are going to more likely be expected. Puka had 7 catches, only 3 receptions for 43 yards. I mean, I think you mentioned him that he will be playing this weekend too as well. And then Cooper Kupp, 10 targets, 4 receptions, 21 yards. So, I mean, their offense wasn't really cooking at all. And last but finally, Kristen Watson, 8 targets, 3 receptions, 33 yards. It's like, what? I mean,
that's what happened. That's what happens when you have the least accurate quarterback in the league. It negates any good Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Luke Musgrave, not naming names or anything. All these weapons, yeah.
You
But
know,
Puka,
Are you
I mentioned last night. Yeah, I mentioned last night. I said Puka might have jumped the shark, and now's the time to move off. I think if you can still get a deal done tonight, um, is it October 31st? I think it
no,
is for most fantasy leagues. I think the trading deadline for NFL and fantasy is pretty close. So you probably only got tonight to make a deal. So I would really, if you have shares of Puka, I would kick around some ideas, see if anybody in your league would want to make a deal for him while his value is still higher. Because I'll be honest, I see more of these like 3-catch, 43-yard games in his future. I see less of the 12 reception, 140-yard games. I really do. I mean, they'll probably still few here and there, but I think the days of him just like tearing up the league like he has the first half of the year, I don't think that's going to continue. I really don't. But there's still people that are like, oh, Puka, he's third in the NFL in receiving and blah blah blah. And especially if Stafford's going to be, if Stafford starts getting banged up, which he has a history of doing. Usually, the second half of the year, he gets banged up, he gets hurt. Do you really want to trust Puka with Brett Rippon? You know what I mean? So there ain't no Baker Mayfield coming in to save the day like last year when they had Baker for a few weeks. So yeah, it's
yeah,
all these guys. Pickens needs to pick it up. Olave, that's pretty pedestrian, but I mean that's kind of what to expect now. I mean they're spreading the wealth in New Orleans. And Alvin Kamara's back. Kamara's going to eat up a lot of that offense. So, you might get a touchdown here and there from, Olave, but I don't expect, huge monster Devontae Adams, AJ Brown kind of games from Olave. I just don't. He's not that level of fantasy receiver. And Cooper Kupp, he's healthy. Obviously, he had a few bangers there. This was probably just a down week. I like Cooper's prospects more than I like Puka. For the rest of the season, to be honest. So, Puka of the 5 though, if I had 2, I had to trade. I would move off Puka and Christian Watson. Like if you're in a redraft year-to-year league, I would try to move one of these guys tonight if you can.
yeah. Most leagues are actually set up here. Trade deadline is either week 10 or week 11. So I mean, you have a couple weeks in.
Oh, okay. So you got all right. Good. So okay, I stand corrected. So you have a little bit of time.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can make trades before the trade deadline, I mean, in some of your guys' leagues, this varies. I mean, I was looking at some of my leagues. Mine is like November 17th. I was looking at one league, so it just varies. So it just all varies in some of your guys' weeks and whatnot. So every league's a little bit different. I know a couple of my leagues, I have them kind of at the first couple of weeks of November. Pretty much second week of November, give or take, just for trade deadlines and whatnot, because it's getting to be that point. Second half of the year is coming up now, and yeah, we have to just kind of get you guys for the rest of the season and get yourself a push into the playoffs too as well. So you got a couple weeks, give or take, so everyone's a little bit different. But yeah, other than that, that's my week 8 goes in this week. Stay tuned for week 9 ghosting. So we'll see who kind of shit the bed for this upcoming week. And is there anything else briefly before we get up out of here? I was going to say something.
I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to do. See, I have who I'm going to do the next week for the college spotlight segment. I'm thinking that I'm going to do. I usually have it ahead of time, but I was just looking on my phone, like who would be a good prospect. I'm thinking Adonai Mitchell. So Adonai Mitchell from Texas, the receiver. I think we're going to do him next week for next week's show.
What's
Texas? Yeah, they got a couple. They got a couple receivers that can go in the first round. This is going to be they talk about how great the quarterbacks are in this draft. Like it's a rich quarterback draft. It's just as rich in receivers as well. I mean, these receivers will be popping off the board. There might be 6 of them in the first round, and this could be one of them. Adonai Mitchell.
I think we should do a wide receiver from Washington. I think that's what we should do. We should do a wide receiver from Washington.
You know what? You know what? Maybe you know what? You know what? We'll leave it up. All right. You know what? Maybe you can do a poll on that, Jamie.
Yeah, I'll put
Odunze or Mitchell. Maybe you could put something up on Twitter or put something up. Hey, would you rather have the Out of Rhythm guys do a spotlight on Mitchell or Odunze from Washington? And then we'll see where if we got a few votes on it or people want to check it out. And whoever gets the most, then we'll do a spotlight on, because they're both gonna be first round picks.
yeah,
So it's kind of apples and oranges.
For sure. Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Or apples to apples. I screwed that up. It's maybe I'll bob for apples. That's Halloween, damn it. Let's get up out of here. Go back and check out some of the archive shows. I mean, this one will be up pretty soon. And Jay will do a poll on that if you guys want Adonai Mitchell or you want Odunze, the receiver from Washington, one or the other, and we'll do a spotlight on next Tuesday's show. And I think 2 weeks from now, we might run not next week. I think we'll be back to the normal schedule, doing a Tuesday show. But the week after that, we might try this again. We might try a Monday and Tuesday, kind of break it up. And if you guys liked how we did it the last 2 nights, kind of broke up. And we went super in depth with, if you want to rewatch last night's episode or stream it on Spotify, we went super in depth in games, and usually we don't. Usually we kind of skim over, we talk players. So we got we gave our reactions and our opinions on a lot of the week 8 games. So maybe we'll do that again in a couple weeks. But yeah, next week it'll be kind of back to the normal format for the post week 9.
Yeah, go back and actually just watch our episode from last night, because that's over. It's got almost 120 views already. I mean, it's boosted up. So if you wanted an in-depth thing, from game to game, we did that. So go and check that out from yesterday. And then I'm fine with that. I mean, I can get in and jump in and do all the recap, kind of the highlights of each game and stuff like that. I mean, I'm down for that for, not this week, but the following week, you just have to let me know on that. But yeah, other than that, I'll be down for that. I mean, I think that kind of breaks up everything and gives some people some views and whatnot. I think Monday was a pretty good success for us. So, but yeah, other than that, Tuesday will be back to our normal day next week. And make sure you join a Discord. Links in the description below. And follow us on Apple, Spotify, and Google Play. So hit those follow buttons, those notification buttons. We already uploaded some stuff from last night's show already. So go and check those out and whatnot. And then this waiver show will be uploaded tonight too as well. So I mean, I know people are doing some waivers. So other than that, I think it's time for us to get the hell up out of here and
hit the bricks, boy.
I actually might go watch some baseball. So
yeah, me too. Go Diamondbacks.
There you go. Go Rangers, because screw the Diamondbacks.
screw the Rangers and screw you too. No, it's good.
All right, guys. From Out of Rhythm, I'm Jamie, and that's Eli. We're gonna get the hell up out of here. Have a good Tuesday night and happy Halloween, everybody.
Don't eat too much candy. Listen to your parents.
Wrong one. Oh. What the? This is all like whacked out tonight. What the frick? We're gonna get the hell out of here, everybody. See you guys later.
Yeah.